Hello everyone, welcome back to Base Damage, and welcome back to Community Fridays. This week we have another Nikke deck, but this time by SpaceCowboy. He had several decks in there that I just haven't looked at, and this one in particular kind of struck my fancy. Y'all know how I love to mess with 8 standby a whole bunch, so he posted up this one that says, "Standby for poor people." I'm assuming it's just because there's not as many like double rares in here. And I think there is like just this red hood is a double rare. I think that's the only one in here. But let's go through the entire deck real quick. I'm wanting to build something like kind of similar to this. So it's kind of interesting. But let's look into this. So it is 8 standby. The first one we have, couldn't remember if Biscuit was a double rare, but no, she's just a rare. It's a 3/2/9K Walk Training Biscuit, little doggo girl, kind of Coronet reminiscent here. If you have 2 or more other Nikke characters, this gets 15 power and character encore, so this will be a 10/5 base. So this is kind of interesting. She has 2 different on attack abilities. The first, you don't have to have a climax combo 4. On attack, you can discard a card, heal the top card of your clock to waiting room. Very nice. Just if you can early play her out and you can like do that multiple times, it just seems like it'd be a fun idea. Second is climax combo. When this card attacks, if Bow Wow Paradise is in your climax area and you have 2 or more other Nikke characters, pay 1, pitch 1. If you do, burn 4, which is just kind of crazy. That's basically last shot seen on like a standby. So just kind of crazy there, but let's take a look at Bow Wow Paradise. It's just kind of cute here. Just like got trampled by the doggos. Just adorable there. So, all right. And the only other level 3, which is kind of funky, but also at the same time, you have a lot of crazy level 2s for this deck. Let's see. We have 3/2, 10,500 New World Modernia. Oh yeah, this is the one from the trial deck. Was he running the event? He's not running the event from the trial deck that works with her, but still. When this is placed on stage from hand, choose up to 1 character with a level equal to or lower than your level, put it on any position of your stage, and that character gets 2k power till end of turn. Just really nice to be able to like summon another copy of the Biscuit or whatever. So when this attacks, you can discard 2 cards. If you do, put the bottom 4 cards of your opponent's deck into their waiting room, deal X damage to your opponent, X equals to the number of climaxes amongst those cards. So a little bit extra burn damage, always nice. I've jokingly said this in the past like 2 Nikke deck profiles, making a joke about her being Hosho Marin, but I'm going to say it again. This Marin clone, 2/1, 7,500, sail through the Tempest Mast. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1, pitch 1. If you do, your opponent chooses 1 climax in their waiting room, return all cards except that card from their waiting room to their deck, and shuffle their deck. So a 1-card Fumio, always great. I honestly forgot that Nikke had this before I started doing the deck reviews and stuff like that. So I was like, oh yeah, I need to get more of this. But next we have 2 copies of Vendetta Rosanna, 2/2, 2,500, 2 salt. All of your characters in front of this game 1,500 power. Oh yeah, this isn't the attacker. The attacker is the other one over here, behind my head. Rest this, look at up to 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. I was like, wait, is this my deck? Your opponent's deck, put them on top of their deck in any order. Okay, so being able to, I guess if the best case scenario for that is like, oh, I see that one of them is a climax, let me go ahead and put the climax on top to try to make certain that you just like go ahead and get that out of the way with like a little chump attack or something. But you can plan your attacks accordingly, which is always nice. So 1 copy of Ludmilla Winter Owner, Mommy. 2/1, 4K. Placed on stage from hand, choose up to 2 of your characters. They get 1,500 power till end of turn. And an act of put this into your stock and put the bottom card of your stock into the waiting room. Choose one of your opponent's characters, return it to their hand. So you just get to bounce something annoying off the field. Very good. This is like one of your biggest attackers in the entire freaking deck because she does get she gets big, but she retains that very easily, and I'll explain it in a second. So 2/2, 6/5, 2 soul, Death Scythe. Hold on, I can talk. If you have 2 or more other Nikke characters, this gets 4,500 power, and the following ability that during this card's battle, your opponent cannot play backups from hand. They can still play events, they just can't play backup characters. So the interesting thing for this is even if you don't have a backstage, if you have no characters in your backstage, but as long as you have 2 characters in your front alongside her, she still gets her full buff. Because with the 45, she becomes 11,000, which is just huge for any like 2/2 standby target. in addition to just the fact of the level 0 climax combo I know is coming up. I've been messing with like a version of this deck, but the level 0 climax combo coming up has the chance to whiff on its effect, and if it does, it still bounces back to your hand. So even if those effects were to whiff in the backstage, you still have like your full buff, even if you don't have anything back there until you like trigger another standby or something. So 4 copies of that, absolutely mandatory. This is one that I wasn't running, but I'm contemplating that I probably should now. 2155 Privati Unkind Maid. If there's a climax in your climax area, this card in all of your zones gets the shot trigger, but the main thing you run her for is when this is placed on stage from hand, if your deck has 6 or less cards, you may return all cards in your waiting room to your deck, and if you do, shuffle your deck. It saves you a refresh, basically saves you from having to take an extra damage, basically just on the trade-off of paying 1 stock, so really nice there. It wasn't something I was running before, but I may have to change that up. The Dorothy Nostalgia 3K memory kick backup, always good. This is definitely like I said, because of the hot on gets so big, the extra 3K makes her a 14 if you don't have anything else buffing her, which you probably will have like maybe a Rosanna or something in the back row buffing her. It's just really, really nice to have the memory kick just in case they do get over it and you're like, I don't want that on the field anymore. We got the one of Boom Install Eleg, the 1K backup that is the anti-change. Pitch 2 cards and put a character, your opponent's character with a level higher than their level, into their memory for the anti-change. 4 copies of Fang on the Battlefield Red Hood is your typical 1/1 55 that becomes the standard 7,500 with character Encore. Really good though. Red Hood supremacy, what Desmond said the other week. 2 copies of Annoying Freema. This is the climax swapper of the deck. I'm just kind of going based the effects that I know. Kotodama Words of Power Maiden. I haven't messed with this card a whole bunch, but I do have some copies of it. I love her design, like just straight out. 0015. When this is placed on stage from hand, choose one of your opponent's characters. That character gets the following ability till the end of your opponent's next turn, and that's this card cannot move to another position of the stage. Basically, you kind of fuck over other standby decks. Any other standby deck that's like, cool, I'm going to summon this level 3 in the backstage, and you're like, cool, Maiden says you're going to stay there for a turn, so it's just kind of funny. Plus, her second ability is an act of discard a card and sack this to salvage back any Nikke character from your waiting room and return it to your hand. So I feel this is a card people should probably run more, especially if they have the 1/0 combos, like the Dorothy from the trial deck, the Modernia double rare from the booster set. I feel this is something you could probably run a lot more of to be able to recur those over and over, possibly. So, I don't know. But 1 copy of that. 3 copies. This is another one from the trial deck that I ended up not caring for as much personally, but I understand why it's like it can still be very good. 00 Puritanical Pilgrim Snow White. It's just, I thought this was like a grenade launcher or something, but I don't know guns as well as other people. So 2K. When this card attacks, you can pay 1 and discard 1 to search your deck for a Nikke character, which I feel is still good, but I think it would just be better for the on play. Pay 1, pitch 1 search instead of just on attack, but it's whatever. It's standby, you really don't care. It's like, cool, I pull 1 out of the deck, I'm that much more of a chance of, triggering a standby or something. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, if this card is in the middle position of your center stage, move this card to an open position of your center stage. So she specifically has to be in middle, but then she can run to the left or right, whichever you prefer. So that is not the only trial deck level 0 that we have in here. The Honed Sword Skills Scarlet. This is really, really nice for any standby deck because you can go through a lot of cards with this. So 0015. Placed on stage from hand, she gets power equal to the number of cards in your clock, 500 times the number of cards in your clock. So if you had a full clock of 6 before you would go up a level, that would be an extra 3K, so she'd be at 4,500. So anywhere from a 2K to a 15 to 2K to 4,500 in power. But her other effect is where you definitely want to run as many copies of this card as you can, picking up the trial deck and using it. When this card is placed on stage from hand, put the top card of your stock into your clock. If you do, look at up to 6, not 4, 6 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 Nikke character from amongst them. Reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, put the rest into your waiting room. Then, it's not over yet. Look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck and put them on top of your deck in any order. knowing what you're going to trigger after also digging that much, like you're going to dig really far down and probably put a whole bunch of different standby targets in your waiting room anyway, on the way to try to grab like something else that you really need. Maybe it's like the upcoming Alice, your level 0 combo, or, you know, Brainstorm, whatever. Like, it's just really good. And then you put all those targets in there, and then you get to top check and you're like, oh, I see that there's a standby coming up, and you plan your attacks accordingly. So really, really nice there. Definite 4 of. I noticed he's not running the Honest from the trial deck, but hey, you know, to each their own. Next, we have 3 copies of Red Wolf Red Hood 0015. This has, like, the main thing that you run this for is the Brainstorm. Pay 1, rest this, mill 4 for each climax you get to salvage a character. So really nice there. But it does have a plethora of other little effects here. When you place it on stage from hand, pay 1, pitch 1. If you do, perform one of these actions based on what your level is. You can only use the effect that corresponds with your level, though. So if you're level 1, all your characters get +1 soul. That's the only time you can use that, is if you're level 1. If you're level 2, choose one of your opponent's characters, return it to their hand, which could kind of benefit if they have like an early player or something that's kind of giving you, you know, some pain there. If your level is 3, this is wild. Deal 50 damage to your opponent, which is just meant to, you know, like knock a climax guaranteed out of their deck. Look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 Nikke character amongst them, reveal it to your opponent, add it to your hand, and put the rest into your waiting room. Once again, just trying to dig. Probably dig for, like, you know, your biscuits or whatever the heck you need, or Modernia, whatever you need. Just really cool, but mainly you're using that for the Brainstorm. This is the level 0 combo. Yeah. Resplendent Cherry Blossom Sakura. Very, very elegant, regal looking. A little pipe and everything. 0015. When this card becomes reversed, if this card's battle opponent is level 0 or lower, you can reverse that character. Always neat to have the reversers. But she has back row effects. When Cherry Blossom, the other standby that is above my head, is placed in your climax area, you can return her to your hand. If you do, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a Nikke character, put it into your hand. So just a little bit of a plussing engine. So that's what I mean by when you have the hot on the field, when you go to play Cherry Blossom and you have, like, you could put 2 of this back row, right? But if you top check a climax, you're just going to reveal that, it goes back. The second one goes off, reveal it, goes back, you know? And then you have like 2 not there in your backstage. The Haran still stays big. So, but you definitely want to run 4 of this because you want to try to get that some kind of advantage. You don't get to pick what you get, it's whatever, but there's also no event. That's actually a fair point. I guess what I was saying before about the not having the event for the New World Modernia actually makes much more sense so that you don't whiff this as much. That's fair. Lastly, 4 copies of Alice Sweet Home. I'm certain most people are used to seeing the Alice level 3, but she has a level 0 as well. 0015, when this is placed on stage from hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a Nikke, add it to hand, and then discard 1 card. So good filtering in general for throwing standby targets into the waiting room and then trying to draw into maybe your climaxes or something or whatever. I said you can draw, but trying to get like Nikke characters to hand. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can discard a Nikke character specifically to draw a card. That's what I'm saying. You could also discard like a 2/2 or a 1/1 or something, and then draw and go, oh, look, I got the standby now. Bam, let's summon stuff, you know? This is just really good for filtering and trying to get as many of your targets out of your hand as possible so that you can summon them via the standby stuff. So really, really nice there. So 4 copies of Cherry Blossom, as stated before. Like I said, very, very beautiful, very elegant. And 4 copies of Bow Wow Paradise. It's just so funny right there. More doggos. And that is going to be it for the deck. A big thank you once again to SpaceCowboy in the Discord for sharing this. Always interesting to see what he cooks up as well. Him and Joker always have a fun time coming up with some interesting decks. But this is not the only one that I have from him. I have 2 more that I'm recording after this one, so we will definitely be seeing more SpaceCowboy in the upcoming weeks for Community Fridays. If you want to submit your own decks as well, feel free to join the Discord. There will be 2 channels. There is a Community Fridays channel that you obviously can submit your deck list into, but there's also a deck list submissions channel, which is a separate thing altogether, just for kind of sharing stuff. But feel free to post stuff in there as well. If I see it, I'll make a video about it. If I see it and I like it, I'll make a video about it. That is going to be it for us today. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see y'all on the flip side. Stay based.